Too easy. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Nerdy for 30s Review Preview. This is the mini podcast where we go through, we talk about all the things that we watched this previous month one more time, just to tie up any loose ends. And then we tell you what we're going to be covering next month. I am Kevin Bauer. With me, as always, is Tim Keck.
Hey.
Tim. See, that time it took me off guard. I like the long.
Yeah, that's how it took you. I'm done. We're not doing it anymore. We're not gonna do it. We tried. We gave it out for a month. We reviewed and we're previewing it, and it's not working.
All right. Wow. The first judgment has been made. Let's go through the rest of the stuff we talked about this month real quick.
Can I do a rundown of our list so far, our rankings?
Yeah.
So we've been debating if Everything Everywhere All at Once should go on the list because we already did it last year. But just for the sake of including it for now, we have from best to worst, The Last of Us, Bahubali 2, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Creed 3, The Woman King, Cocaine Bear, Bahubali 1, Megan, Avatar: The Way of Water, Ant-Man 3, and Knock on the Cabin. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it's a pretty solid looking list. Cocaine Bear, we said we had is better than Bahubali. Does that sound right to you? I think it is, but that doesn't sound like something you would say.
I gave you that one.
I think he gave that to me. And that was nice of you to do.
It's contentious. I don't feel great about it. But at the end of the day, I was really impressed by the vibe of Cocaine Bear. I didn't expect that. Cocaine Bear had a lot of parts to it that I didn't see coming. And I think that those parts are what I'm talking about when I rank that above Bahubali. Although hearing that back, it's still, the more I think about it, the more I disagree with it. So let's move on before I completely change my mind. Where did Woman King end up going again? Do we have that below
It's
Creed
number
3?
5. So it's above Cocaine Bear and below Creed 3. So we really have everything we watched in the past month is in the top half, right? Last of Us, Bahubali 2, then Everything Everywhere All at Once, Creed 3, The Woman King, Cocaine Bear are like our top 6.
Wow.
So I think that's pretty fair. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, we made it through Dumpuary.
Yeah. And now we're hitting our stride. We're really getting it done. Creed 3 better than The Woman King, not as good as Creed 3. You really liked Creed 3.
I really liked Creed 3, but I think The Woman King is better.
You do. I disagree, but maybe. I
think
I don't know.
I don't know. Oof, yeah, I was literally on the edge of my seat for fight scenes in Creed 3. Like, there's a lot of uneven stuff that happens in Creed 3. There's some uneven stuff that happens toward the end of The Woman King. Creed 3, I think, gave me more emotional reactions, but I do think that The Woman King is a better constructed movie with a better cast.
Yeah. The Woman King is probably like a better written thing. I don't think any performance in The Woman King is as good as Jonathan soon to be canceled Majors in Creed 3, though. He is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Doesn't look like he hits women at all.
He is so good in Creed 3. And I am so bummed out about these allegations.
God.
I really wonder what the state of all this is going to be next month when we check in with all this. And also, I mean, you know, one last little thing to pepper in. We'll be reporting here. One little thing to pepper in there while we talk about Hollywood's treatment of people who are abusing other people. We're just pushing forward with the Flash. WB, no problems. We're just going full steam ahead on the Flash. Pretty problematic.
I was like, oh, how is this going to affect Kang Dynasty or whatever? And it's like, it's not. This will not slow them down at all. Ezra Miller was like beating people, right? And like is like a huge monster, and they don't care about that. So whatever, it's cool.
Dude, if nothing
John the Majors, all the stuff we got to throw in allegedly in there because I don't think any of it's been like proven or whatever. I heard he called the cops. Hopefully, you know, this was all just a big misunderstanding and, you know, nothing happens, but we all know that's probably not true. Creed 3, the best thing we saw last month and the number one thing on our list was The Last of Us.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel very solid in saying that.
Completely locked in. I think there's a decent chance that The Last of Us is the best thing we see this year.
I think it is. I think there's a very good chance it does that and sweeps with the Rennies and just have a great time with it, because it was great. It was so good. I want to replay the game. Can't wait for season 2. Man, it was good. It was so good.
Oh, keeping it spoiler free, you played part 2, right, of the game?
Yeah, I played both parts of it.
What did you think about part 2, again, spoiler free, versus part 1 of the games?
I think I liked part 1 better.
Okay.
I think it's just a more satisfying. I thought it was a more satisfying story. Whereas 2 is a little bit more, it's not as linear, I don't think. But yeah. I haven't played it in a minute. And we were talking about it. It seemed like you remember everything from the games. And I played them both and was like, wow, these are amazing. Like the best game I've ever played. And then immediately forgot everything that happened. So the whole time I was like, oh, yeah, OK, that did happen. Right. It was like the show was just reminding me of how good the game was. It was great advertising. And I think they're going to re-release them both. And then they're doing a third game, right?
That's what the word on the street is.
Wow.
It's also, I mean, I've watched these games even after playing them. That's not something I normally do. I'm not like a Twitch guy. I normally am not a fan of watching other people play video games at all. But for some of the more cinematic video games that have come out in the past few years, I have an option in there where once you get to a certain point of the game, you can turn off all of the heads-up display, all the on-screen text, all that stuff, so that what you're left with is functionally just a movie, which can be really disorienting if you don't really know your way around that game. But what people will use it for on YouTube is they'll go through and they'll basically turn these games into movies, and you just kind of watch somebody playing through it. And there's not like, you're not seeing like logos coming up when people are picking up ammo. Most of the time you don't even see like an aiming reticle in the middle of the screen. It's just like watching a movie. It's awesome. I do think there are a couple sequences in the second game that just break my heart that I'm just totally in love with. So I think overall, the second game, I think I liked it a little bit more than the first. But yeah, I'm fascinated to see what they do. I heard a rumor the second game is going to be 2 seasons of the show. I don't know how I feel about that.
I understand why they would want to do that, though. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense that they would do that. Yeah. And then speaking of seeing something multiple times, Everything Everywhere All at Once, we reviewed it on the pod last year, and we, as is tradition, review our Oscar-winning movie, Everything Everywhere at Once Brought It Home.
Mm-hmm.
We ranked it number 3 on our list, I think, which is pretty good after Bahubali 2. Kevin, was it great to watch it again? Did you have a good time watching it again?
I wasn't as blown away the second time as I was the first time, but I mean, the shock value was gone. I had it hyped for me going in. And I think that was something that I think it lived up to the hype that I was given going into it. And then I think the hype that I had to match my second viewing was my own excitement from the first viewing. And you're just never going to be able to recapture that. And it really drove home the second time just how long that movie is, too. Felt the length.
It's very long. I definitely respected the acting performances even more like the second time around. I feel like I understood it better the second time. I feel like I was like, by the time I finished watching the second time, I felt very satisfied with it being an Oscar winner. I think it makes a ton of sense. It was good. It was really, really good. Should we get into, do we have a mailbag, Kevin, we want to get into?
We do. We got a couple pieces of mail. One of these pieces of mail is from November. So I want to apologize to Jalebi. We didn't know we were getting mail. I checked. We had some mail. So they came through. They recommended a couple of their favorite Indian films. I know we're going to dive into a few more. So this is great. Great to see. We specifically really want to see some more that aren't by S.S. Rajamouli, not because we don't want to watch more movies by him, because I would prefer if every movie I see for the rest of my life was directed by S.S. Rajamouli. I just want to get more of a feeling for like Tollywood cinema and then Bollywood cinema separately, and just, I don't know, really, really dive in. So the recommendations are 3 Idiots, Sardar Udam, Bahubali 1 and 2, which check, loved it. Thank you. Kantara, Brahmastra. That's another one that I've heard a lot. Brahmastra gets recommended all the time. KGF 1 and 2, Yajawani Haidawini. I definitely pronounced that wrong. I'm so sorry. Vikram and the Kashmir Files. So all great suggestions. We will check those out. I feel like in the summertime, we hit a couple situations where we had to fill some time, had to figure out what to do because the release slate just kind of dries up. So this will be great. Definitely want to explore that. And we also rescheduled Police Story from earlier in the year. So we got to find a way to fit Police Story back into it.
Yeah, people are clamoring for Police Story. We decided to do everything everywhere all at once instead. And we gotta get back to it, Kevin. We gotta keep expanding our, I want to say literary, but it's not. Yes, a cinematic horizons. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's great. So I guess we'll write them back and tell them that these are all good suggestions.
Yeah, this is us writing back right now. Also, I'll send a reply.
Hey man, thanks.
That's it. Just like a 6-month gap, and then we hit him with that.
6 months to just get like a, hey, thanks, dude. That's pretty cool.
All right. Well, hey, we got another one. An old friend of mine wrote in, Ben from Cincinnati. Ben writes, just giving y'all a thank you for the content. The breakdown of Ant-Man Quantumania was spot on and really put a finger onto my recent malaise with Marvel. Thank you, Ben. There are so many stories with multiple loose ends that have gone seemingly nowhere. It creates some concern that there will be too much crammed into too little time and content. Imagine 1 or 2 movies trying to succinctly wrap all that up. And what pains me about that is with the Bob Iger return, they're chopping stuff off the block. So much of this stuff that we were promised, we're probably never going to see, or exactly like Ben just said, it's going to be crammed in. I'm already hearing that The Black Knight has been completely cut from the Mahershala Ali Blade movie. He was apparently a big part of it to set up like a Midnight Suns thing down the road. Apparently just gone. It was a page 1 rewrite. No more Black Knight. Yeah. Yikes. Ben also writes, I've really appreciated the other suggestions too, like RRR and Bahubali, even if my fiance didn't fully appreciate them. Come on. So thanks a second time.
Fiance, you still got time to figure that out. These are the questions you need to be asking yourself to prepare. How do you view financially? How do you view the world? How do you feel about, children in the future? Yes, no, maybe so. And then films. Do they like Ant-Man? Will they watch RRR? These are the big hitting questions. That's why couples counseling exists.
Yeah, you really need to go into couples counseling with a copy of RRR and just hash it out. Ben ends by saying, one suggestion, if you ever do a classics episode and you haven't dissected Seven Samurai, it is a personal favorite.
Oh,
I'm sure you're well aware of its cultural significance. I am, and I've never seen it. That's been on my list for forever, so I would love to do that.
I've never seen it either.
So we should definitely get to that.
That's a great
also
one.
Sent in a photo of Hank Hill on a bear's body with the caption Propane Bear.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
So what do you think about the Marvel stuff? The podcast was originally like a Marvel podcast, and we've kind of just become more of a general movie podcast. Well, we both truly feel passionate about Marvel's work.
Mm.
Are you worried about anything? I don't feel worried about Marvel at all. I feel like it will work out. Everything's going to be okay. They have these movies they're building towards. Some part of me is like, oh, they'll never reach the same heights they had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think there'll ever be another Endgame, like anything that good again. But can we keep making Thor Ragnaroks and Captain America Winter Soldiers? And I don't know. I'm also one of those idiots who like enjoys Age of Ultron. Because I just like seeing the gang together. I just like seeing Captain America and Thor hanging out. I like when all the friends get together and get to hang and tell stories and try to pick up Mjolnir at a party. I think that's fun. That does it for me. So if we get more of those, honestly, I'd be excited. If we can get Daredevil talking to Falcon, while they're on a double date, if we can get a double date between Daredevil, She-Hulk, and I guess Bucky and the Falcon's sister, we're on the right track for a good Marvel movie, in my opinion. So plenty of time. White Knight's there as like a waiter or something, and we're good. That's the makings of a good Marvel movie, in my opinion. But I'm a soft touch when it comes to Marvel stuff.
Yeah, man. I'm not super worried. I'm bummed out that the dilution of the product happened after Endgame. I think it was kind of inevitable, but it really stinks that they did flood the water because they did. I mean, water's always flooded. It's fucking water. I'm not going to change that. That's going to be a phrase I use now. So it really does. They chummed it. Yeah, there we go. They chummed it. And the internet sharks came a biting.
It's interesting that they fell for the same stuff that it seems like every other company's going through this now too, which is like, how do you figure out the right amount of energy and effort to put into streaming, right?
Mhm.
Like the Batgirl movie famously X'd just for like tax reasons because they don't want to put this much energy into streaming anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of, they're losing the benefit of that. Disney Plus. Is Disney Plus going to be able to sustain itself on just Disney? Maybe. I mean, I heard they're doing something with Hulu, right? It's going to be like a Hulu Disney thing. At some point, I think is the rumor. They're just going to, I think these things, all these networks are going to start combining, and I don't think we're going to get as much random fun content anymore. I really don't. I think they're going to tone back on these TV shows.
I think that's probably for the best. I would rather have like one of these TV movies that had a lot of polish go into it. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special was a blast. It was like, I think that's the thing, is that if we're going to do something that's kind of like fun and silly, I would rather have it constrained to like a tight period of time, like the holiday special and like the Werewolf by Night special, versus having this thing that's such a lower level of quality than we're used to that stretches across like 6 weeks and 6 hours of content. Like, why are you making the worst thing last longer? Why would you do that to us? Why was Falcon and the Winter Soldier that long? So I'm a little bit worried about Daredevil. I think that's the only one that has me kind of iffy because it's supposedly 18 episodes long, and the Netflix shows were already way too long. So unless
I think
this
they're
is
cutting
the
it
legal
down,
procedural,
right? I think, didn't they just announce that they're cutting? I think they're cutting some time off the Daredevil thing. I could be wrong, but that's what I'd heard. I think Daredevil's the barometer. Like Daredevil's going to show us what happens with Disney Plus going forward.
Oh yeah,
right?
They can totally cut some shit. I like that Bob Iger's cutting in general, but it's unfortunate that we got so many teases before that happened. Like, oh my God, the number of character teases we got. So, but they'll pull together. There's a recency bias involved in the fact that like Endgame and Infinity War and Civil War came out so close to each other, and fucking Black Panther and Doctor Strange and all that. Whereas it's like you've said before, if you look at the first couple stages of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man, great movie. Then Incredible Hulk. Then Iron Man 2, which I ride for, but nobody else rides for. Then Thor, which was like, okay. And Captain America, the First Avenger, which was like, okay. Like, none of those things were like crazy smash hits.
I felt like they were kind of like for the fans, for the people who like these guys, that it made them household names. And then it was like still nerdy and fun. And I think we're kind of going back to that. I tell you what makes me more nervous about Marvel than the shows, than having a She-Hulk show, than having a Miss Marvel show or whatever, is like MODOK in Ant-Man 3.
Oh, yeah.
Where they take a character and they treat him as a joke and just kind of throw him away, which I can't say I'm the most familiar with MODOK. But if you're, I don't think the IP is bottomless. It feels like it because of Guardians of the Galaxy, but they've only created so many characters that are worth talking about,
Yeah.
And I think it's very flippant and short-sighted to take a character like MODOK that could be a villain in a TV show. He could carry a movie. They could do a movie where they're dealing with MODOK, or like put more weight on him, and to just have him be like a bit and just like toss it away seems like cool. So like, how many more of these do you have lined up? How many more villain names do you have? You got like the Wrecking Crew. You're just going to like make a bit about them and She-Hulk, and just they're gone now.
Yeah.
And like, cool. So the Wrecking Crew, they used to like go toe to toe with the Avengers, but like, yeah, we don't need them. well, there's more guys. There's more people who can do that. Right? Like everyone's dreaming about what the next big thing is, and it's like Kang and Galactus and Doctor Doom maybe. And then after that, everyone's just kind of like, cool. So then like, what are you guys gonna do? You're gonna do like
Mephisto, dude.
You're gonna make Doctor Doom a girl and then run it back? Are you gonna like, it'll be like like instead of creating a new character that has depth, they'll just be like, okay, cool. So, Thor's a lady, we'll bring her back. So-and-so is something else. I don't know. It just seems, I don't know what they think it. I don't know. They're just going to run out of IP, I feel like, at a certain point.
It's weird. The other thing they're doing that with bringing in like the MODOK stuff so flippantly, and even the Wrecking Crew so flippantly, is they're kind of at a point where they seem like they're taking for granted any sort of a base grounded reality in their properties. And they're like, yeah, snap happens. So now everybody's just used to there being paranormal stuff all over the place. But what you do when you drop that is you lose the casual moviegoers and you hone in on just the fans, because like your average person, like your average, like, 20-year-old might want to watch it, but their parent probably isn't going to buy a ticket to it if there isn't some kind of a basis in reality. And if you're not still trying to speak to some kind of larger truth about society overall. So you need those people. I'm sorry. When you translate something into a different medium, you need the people that aren't there for you in the original medium to succeed. There's a much bigger audience that goes to movies than there is audience that reads comic books. So it's frustrating to see them seemingly abandon the people whose like casual dollars allow this franchise to exist.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they have a hard time. Like, I don't even know what a new Marvel character is, like I know we're both big Miles Morales fans, but it's like another Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And like the best heroes Marvel's able to create now is just like a different version of Iron Fist, a different version of they're like altering the characters and they're just kind of repackaging characters as opposed to like, inventing something new, creating a new idea that they can rally behind. And I think that's hard. I think it's hard to create a brand new superhero that like everybody likes and whatever. So, yeah. So I'm worried about the IP. You're worried about the moviegoer. We're just, I guess, a little worried over here.
I guess so.
I'm at a 5. Should we run down the movies we're doing next month?
Let's do it. So we are going to be back here first off next week, finally talking about John Wick Chapter 4.
Yeah, baby.
This will be interesting.
Can't wait.
I had never seen the John Wick movies. I started watching them. I have takes that I know Tim is going to hate.
Kevin's going to be really wrong about this. I love these movies. It's going to be great.
After that, the following week, we are going to go see, we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. We are seeing this one in like 3 days. I am so hyped for this movie.
Somehow there's like 20 people going with us.
We bought out an entire row.
It'll be fun.
At Regal.
We brought a D20 worth of people, Heyo, that's all I know about Dungeons and Dragons.
You crushed it, dude.
Thanks, man.
Week after that, we're going to be back here with the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Tim, do you think that's going to be good?
It's me, Mario, who just sounds like Chris Pratt. Probably not. No, actually, I do think I think Super Mario Bros. Will be very good. I think it'll be great. It's got all the makings of good. The trailer I really liked. I wish it was just like a stereotypical, like offensive Italian accent that Mario was using the whole time. But, I'm sure I'll get over that after, 15 minutes of the movie. It'll be fine. And it's going to be good. What do you think?
I think, I think it's going to be good. I think this is one of those situations where Nintendo is so careful with their IP that I don't think they'd be dropping this thing if it wasn't good. And the trailer has like a really interesting sense of humor to it that I didn't see coming. So I think they I think they escaped the part where you play too safe with your IP and you don't let your character do anything interesting, Mickey Mouse style. But I think they got themselves into that sweet spot where it's like, all right, yeah, we wouldn't release this if it wasn't good.
Yeah. I heard somebody talking about taking their kid to McDonald's and getting like a Mario like Happy Meal toy and how their kid is like excited about the movie because it looks like the Happy Meal toy. Like, this is another branding opportunity for them to like introduce new people, new kids and stuff to Mario. Maybe sell some more Switches down the road. I think they're going to take it seriously.
Good Lord. Sad state of affairs. All right. And then the final one for April is going to be the movie Renfield with Nicholas Hoult and Nick Cage. Tim, I know it has Nicholas Hoult. I know how much you hate Nicholas Hoult, but Renfield just officially got an R rating. So I think it's going to be great.
It did?
It did. It got the R.
Oh my God. You know, I love an R. This will be a top 5 movie for us. That's what I'm saying. No, it won't be. Let's see. It'll be top 6 for us. It'll be in the top 6. That's what I'm predicting. We'll see.
I can see it, dude. That R makes all
I think it's
the
going to be
difference.
fun.
If I saw
I think that R is
PG-13,
going to be a big freaking deal.
Yeah. Megan held Megan back from being the #1 movie this year.
Gosh, as soon as I see PG-13, I'm like, nah, I'm not a little kid. I'm not a little baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to an R-rated movie. I got my mom and dad to sign a doctor's note, and I'm eligible, baby. I can get right in here. Check that ID. I'm an old man. Get me in here. Let's see that R. Let's see some shit. That's it. I don't have anything else to riff on that. Kevin, I feel good about this. I feel good about this month. I think we're leading up to another solid month of movies and Nerdy for 30 pods. And I'm excited. I'm pumped. I can't wait.
So am I. I'm going to love being here every second. Hopefully you, listener, do too. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We really appreciate it. We will see you back here next week for John Wick 4. And until then, stay nerdy, everybody.
Stay nerdy.
Bye.
Bye.